Hey everyone, it's Mark. Ash has already visited every region in Pokémon Journeys, and he will definitely be returning to all of them throughout the rest of the series. So far, a lot of his travels have been quick, somewhat random trips. Whether it's going to Hoenn to watch a kid's Pokémon contest, or visiting Unova for an all-you-can-eat food trip, most of Ash's travels to other regions have been pretty harmless. On the other hand, we've seen him travel to regions in order to battle specific opponents, enter competitions, and even reunite with some of his old friends. This leaves the door open for a lot of exciting possibilities in the rest of Pokémon Journeys, and in this video, I'm going to talk about one thing Ash should do in every single region before this series is over. My main criteria for deciding what he should do is based around what would make sense in the grand scheme of Pokémon Journeys, as well as some ideas that I just think would be really fun. I'm not sure if any of these ideas are actually going to happen, but let me know what you think about them in the comments, and pitch me your ideas as well. While you're at it, why not like the video and subscribe to my channel? I'd really appreciate it if you did. Anyways, let's get started. Okay, let's begin by talking about Kanto. Obviously, Vermilion City is Ash's home base for this series, and a majority of episodes take place in the Kanto region. That doesn't mean there's not still plenty of cool things for Ash to do in his home region. Because we have already seen him once in this series when he challenged Leon for the title of Monarch, I think the one thing Ash should do in Kanto is have some kind of meeting or interaction with Lance. When they described the Masters 8 in the anime, they made it seem like Lance was one of the members of that group. His match against Leon was the final of the previous season of the World Coronation series, but if Lance enters in the new season of the competition with Ash, he's likely to be among the top 8 trainers once again. This could make him a potential opponent for Ash in the future. Or, instead of looking ahead to Ash and Lance's future, why don't we play off some of their history together instead? Lance has actually run into Ash twice before, but neither time happened in Kanto. Ash was actually with him in Johto when he caught that red Gyarados, which made it extra special to see it again in his match against Leon. Lance and the red Gyarados appeared once again in the Advanced Generation series, where Lance and Ash got wrapped up in the climax of the Team Aqua and Team Magma storyline in Hoenn. Both of these instances were a part of Lance's inclusion in the Pokémon G-Men, a fact that was mentioned in his Journeys appearance as well. Maybe the two of them could meet up again during one of Lance's Pokémon G-Men missions, or maybe Lance will have some kind of exhibition match in Kanto that Ash attends, or even battles in. I'm not really sure what the exact circumstances could be, but I think it would be really cool for Ash to have another interaction with Lance, and have that play into their shared experience in trying to defeat Leon in the World Coronation series. Maybe Lance could give him some tips on how to battle against Leon and Charizard. I don't think I've mentioned this in any of my videos before, but I have a huge soft spot for the Orange Island season of the anime. I remember watching the saga when I was a kid, so these were some of the first episodes of the anime I ever watched. Now, do I think Ash will actually visit the Orange Islands in Pokémon Journeys? Probably not, but at least it's fun to speculate. Since all Ash really did during his time in the Orange Islands was challenge the gyms and get into random filler quests on various islands, we're kind of limited on what Ash could do if he revisits this region. They can't even play into the events of the second movie since that focused on Lugia and the legendary birds, and Ash has already seen Lugia and Zapdos in Pokémon Journeys. Instead, this could be an opportunity for Goh to learn about and research some different Pokémon, maybe even with Professor Ivy. I doubt we are ever going to get any closure on the circumstances behind Brock leaving Professor Ivy's lab, but since she's the Pokémon authority in the region, maybe they could do some research together on some of the regional variants found in the Orange Islands. It's strange to think that way before Generation 7 and the Alola games, it was actually in the Orange Islands that we first saw trial-like gyms and Pokemon regional variants. I used to think the Crystal Onyx was the coolest thing ever when I was little, and I'm sure Goh would find it just as exciting now. Maybe we could even see Ash's Lapras again. None of Ash's trips to Johto have been very notable in Pokémon Journeys, with probably the biggest highlights being Ho-Oh's appearance, which Ash didn't even see, and then Ash's rematch vs. Bee taking place at the Cianwood Gym. I think one option for what Ash and Goh could do in the future would be to investigate the legendary beast, especially considering Raikou has basically never been seen in the main series anime. However, I think I have a much better idea that ties into the overall story of Pokémon Journeys, and that's Ash's inevitable showdown with Leon. Like I mentioned earlier with Lance, I think Ash is going to need some special advice or training in order to take down Leon's Charizard, and the perfect place to do that is located in the Johto region. That's right, I'm talking about the Characific Valley. This was the place that Ash left his Charizard to train up until he recalled it in the Best Wishes series. Lisa, the person in charge of the Characific Valley, is probably the #1 expert in the anime on the subject of Charizard, and I mean, she's pretty much been training them for her whole life, at least I think. This could be the place Ash turns to in order to train for his eventual battle against Leon. Maybe there could even be a tie-in where Leon actually trained at the Charcific Valley once, and we could learn more about his backstory with Charizard from Lisa. Whatever the details are, I think this would be a pretty unique place for Ash to visit, and one location that probably doesn't immediately come to mind when fans think about the Johto region. Alright, let's talk about Hoenn, and honestly, I think this is my favorite idea I have for this video. How about this? A multi-episode story arc centered around the Wallace Cup, which will include returns from May, Dawn, and Serena. Let's take a step back. For those who may not remember, the Wallace Cup was an event introduced in the Diamond and Pearl series as a big contest hosted by Wallace, former champion and top coordinator. This event was so big that it changes location every year, and it's kind of like the World Cup or the Olympics of the Pokemon contest world. Well, kind of. What makes it special is that the ribbon you get for winning it qualifies as a ribbon in any region that has contests, so that means trainers can travel from all over the world in order to compete in this prestigious competition. With all that said, I guess it doesn't have to take place in the Hoenn region, but since that's where contests came from, it may as well take place there for the sake of this video. Besides, I can't really think of anything better for Ash to do in Hoenn, aside from maybe a storyline similar to the Delta episode from Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, but let's be honest, the Mega Evolution specials are probably the closest thing we'll ever get to that. Anyways, back to my Wallace Cup plans. We know May and Dawn are off somewhere trying to become top coordinators, and Serena left for the Hoenn region at the end of the XY series to try her hand at contests as well. So it is possible that each of them can make a return for this Wallace Cup story arc. It would definitely have to be a multi-episode story arc since there would be so much going on and so much to go over with each of Ash's former traveling companions. That being said, they did fit pretty much everything into Ash's return to Alola, and that had way more than 3 returning characters, albeit not much time has passed since Ash had seen them last. On the other hand, loads of time has passed since Ash has seen May and Dawn, and I'm sure plenty of Serena fans would love to see her and Ash get back together permanently. By competing in the Wallace Cup, this could show off any changes to each of their teams, as well as any new accomplishments that any of them have achieved. I doubt any of them would be a top coordinator by this point, but maybe they'd have some stories to tell, such as Dawn and May facing off in the Grand Festival somewhere. I don't have a lot of concrete ideas that I specifically want to see during the story arc, but I think it just offers so many possibilities for the anime to explore. The only issue is I'm not sure how Ash would find out about this event. Maybe Serena would invite him personally, and he'd drag Goh along with him. What would Goh think about contests? Who knows, but maybe we'll get to find out if this Wallace Cup story arc actually happens. At the time of me recording this, Pokémon Journeys is currently 48 episodes in. So far, Ash has only traveled to Sinnoh twice in this series, and both times were fairly uneventful. Maybe they're saving some Sinnoh adventures for later in the series, possibly in line with Diamond and Pearl remakes that could come out next year. Since we don't even know if those remakes are going to happen yet, I can't really speculate on how they could tie into Pokémon Journeys. Instead, I think there's a pretty obvious idea for Ash to do in Sinnoh, and it has to do with his rivalry with Bee. We know that Bee is traveling around and challenging other fighting gyms and dojos as part of her training, and so far, Ash has battled Bee at the Saffron City Karate Dojo as well as the Sandwood Gym. Bee has already mentioned that she defeated Karina before, and since we've already seen Karina in Pokemon Journeys, I don't think she'll return again. That leaves just 2 fighting type gyms in the Pokemon world, and one of them is Bee's own gym in Galar, but I don't think we'll see Ash travel there either. All that's left is Maylene's gym in Veilstone City, and I think this should be the site of Ash and Bee's third match together. Ash has made it known that he still intends on defeating Bee, and this is the closest thing Ash has to a rival in Pokemon Journeys. So it's only a matter of time before their next battle, and I think it should take place in Veilstone City. What really hammers home this idea is that Maylene has a Lucario of her own. Like we saw with Karina, Ash and his Lucario take special interest in other trainers' Lucario, and Maylene would be another logical character to continue this trend. It could be as simple as seeing Bee and Grapplock defeating Maylene and Lucario before Ash challenges Bee himself. Or Maylene could help Ash train with his Lucario, which would be especially fitting since Ash's group really helped out Maylene when she was going through a rough patch with her Lucario during the Diamond and Pearl series. All in all, I just think this idea makes sense. If I had to guess, I actually think this idea is pretty likely to happen in Pokemon Journeys, so let's see if I'm correct. When I was trying to come up with an idea for Ash to do in Unova, I kinda struggled to come up with something. I know a lot of people don't like the Best Wishes series very much, but I have a lot of fond memories of it personally. That being said, there's not really a lot for Ash to do in Unova that he hasn't done already. Pokémon Journeys has already tied up loose ends like him visiting the desert resort for the first time, so what else is there for Ash to do? Well, then my brain started thinking about how could we incorporate some of Ash's old friends into the equation. Then I got it. Iris. If you think back to the Best Wishes series, we learned that Iris was basically handpicked by Drayden to be his successor as the Opelucid City gym leader, and we know that Iris's goal is to become a Dragon Master. Well, Ash could drop in her progress as she works towards both of those things. And as you probably picked up on in the thumbnail of this video, this could involve a battle between Ash's Dragonite and Iris's Dragonite. At this point, Ash's Dragonite is still undefeated in Pokémon Journeys, and it would be an interesting contest to see it go up against Iris's ace Pokémon. That is, unless Axew has suddenly become an overwhelmingly powerful Haxorus, but I doubt the anime would make it evolve at this point. I would actually like to see Iris win this battle, and it could be a sign to Drayden that she's ready to take over as Opelucid City's gym leader. I think this would accomplish a lot of things and make for a really cool episode. There may not be any room for Silent in this idea of mine, but I don't know, maybe in the comments you can give me another idea that involves Silent. Okay, I think we all know that the number one thing we all want to see Ash do in Kalos is reunite with Greninja. Done. Well, that was easy. Let's move on to Alola. Oh wait, what about Serena? I already talked about Serena in the Hoenn section of this video, and I think a pretty self-explanatory idea would be having a Lumio City reunion episode in the same style as Ash's return visit to Alola in episode 37 of Pokémon Journeys. With those basic ideas out of the way, I want to throw out another hypothetical that I think could lead to a pretty interesting story arc. I said earlier that I don't think Karina will return in Pokémon Journeys again, but this idea kind of goes against that. We know that Ash and Lucario have a lot of room to grow, and we could see something like an Ash Lucario form, maybe something like Aura Burst Lucario, or just some unique special form that the anime will make up. Another option could be Mega Evolution, and Riolu seemed pretty fired up about that when it saw Karina's Lucario Mega Evolve back in episode 25. I don't think Ash will just get gifted a Mega Ring and Keystone, kind of like he was with his Z-Ring in Sun and Moon, and I think he'd have to earn this one himself. Simply put, I could see Ash going on his own journey with Lucario and Kalos, similar to the one Karina went on with her Lucario during XY. It may be a bit of a retread, but I think it would be pretty cool to see Ash and Lucario work through a lot of the same things we saw Karina go through herself. This could even result in a World Coronation Series rematch between the two, and maybe that would be Ash's final hurdle to earn a Mega Ring. Not the most original idea, but I wanted to shake it up from the standard, have Greninja and or Serena comeback storyline, even though that's basically all anyone wants to see anyways. As we saw in the episode where Ash returned to Alola in Pokémon Journeys, he still holds the region in very high regard. I think it's fair to say that Alola may even be his favorite region, and I think there's still plenty of stuff for him to do there. One of my first ideas was to have an Ultra Guardians mission, since that would be a good way to incorporate all of Ash's classmates as well as some of Ash's Alolan Pokemon. But the Ultra Guardians missions during Sun and Moon covered all of the different Ultra Beasts already, so I'm not sure what else there would be for them to do. There's also the whole Lily, Gladion, and Lusamine searching for Mon storyline, but that idea doesn't even take place in Alola, so I came up with another idea instead. At some point, there is going to be another Alola League, and if it's anything like the first one, then the winner would get to participate in an exhibition match. Since the Masked Royal isn't really a thing anymore, why not call on the region's first champion to take the place as the exhibition match opponent? I mentioned in my 10 trainers I want to see Ash battle in the World Coronation Series video that I wish we could see a 3-on-3 battle against Ash and Kiawe in its entirety, since that's basically the only major battle we didn't get to see during the first Alola League. I think it would make sense for Kiawe to potentially win the second edition of the league, especially considering the previous two finalists, Ash and Gladion, wouldn't be participating. This could take place over 2 episodes where in the first one, Ash could fly into Alola, catch the final battle between Kiawe and whoever, let's just say Alima, and have Kiawe come out on top. This would set up the exhibition match versus Ash, and then in the second episode, we could see Ash use either his new Pokemon or some of his Alola Pokemon to battle Kiawe. Either way, I think this would be a fun idea for Ash to do, especially since it would finally recognize him as the champion that he is. Well, I guess I have to include Galar in this video as well, although this is a little bit of a different situation when you compare it to all the previous regions I've discussed so far. That's because Ash has never traveled through Galar properly, so there's still so much he could do in this region. I talked about a lot of these ideas in my What's Next for Pokémon Journeys video, such as the Swordward and Shieldbird arc from the games, some fun in the DLC areas, and Ash's inevitable final tournament as part of the Masters 8. You can check out that discussion video if you haven't already. The only other thing I can think of off the top of my head that I definitely want to see Ash do at some point is have a battle against Bee that involves the use of Dynamax, and that would have to take place in Galar. If the only Galar gym leader he's going to battle is Bee, then it's only right that eventually the two of them have a battle using Dynamax. After all, I've pointed out Bee's Dynamax band in the intro enough times that I'll just look dumb if she ends up never using it. Now, I did mention in the Sinnoh section of this video that it's unlikely for Ash to ever travel to Bee's gym in Snow-on-Side, but maybe that could happen for the purposes of this battle. Or maybe Bee will end up in the Master Class and she'll be one of Ash's opponents during the final tournament. Either way, the battle would take place in a stadium where the two of them could Dynamax their Pokemon, or Gigantamax their Pokemon. If we do get Sinnoh remakes, it wouldn't surprise me if some Sinnoh Pokemon got Gigantamax forms, and Lucario would probably be first on that list. Up to this point, Grapplock has been presented as Bee's ace, but what about the Gigantamax Machamp she uses in the games? Could she pull this one out as her trump card during her final battle against Ash? There you have it. That's one thing Ash needs to do in every region in Pokémon Journeys. I kind of went over the one thing limit in a couple of regions, but oh well, it's my discussion video. And if you made it through the whole thing, you clearly enjoyed it anyways. First of all, thank you for watching the video, and I hope you drop a like as well as leave me a comment so I can hear your thoughts on my ideas or pitch me your own. I'll definitely be monitoring and responding to the comments, so make sure you check out the continued discussion down there. That's all I've got for now. Be sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my future videos, and I'll see you guys next time.